Okay, I feel like a lot of people don't talk about things like this after weight loss, but I want to talk about it. Obviously, when I was almost 300 pounds, I had so many health conditions, so many health issues. Like, I would never want that back. Like, I'm so much healthier now, and I can move my body freely without feeling restricted because of my weight. But I almost felt as my physical health was improving, my mental health started declining. That's why I feel like it's like mental, then nutrition, then your workout and exercise. Like, this needs to be in check before this needs to be checked before this. Imagine you felt invisible because you're in a bigger body and people didn't pay attention to you, but you feel even more invisible now because a lot of people do pay attention to you, but they only see you for what's on the outside. And imagine feeling only lusted over to the point where you feel unworthy of love. Imagine how we feel when people constantly degrade our past selves as if we're not the same person. Imagine friends that used to hype you up and empower you all of a sudden start telling you you're doing too much and start acting weird towards you and even maybe a little jealous towards you. Imagine having such bad trust issues because the way you get treated now by society is night and day from how you used to be treated. All I can do is continue to heal and continue to be a kind person to everyone I meet, regardless of how they look.
Skinny privilege is a real thing, and we need to talk about it. In my early 20s, I weighed 180 pounds. For reference, I am 5'3", and honestly, people would treat me like I didn't matter, almost like I was invisible. They'd talk over me, laugh at me, whisper behind my back. I could feel it. As soon as I'd enter the room, eyes were shifting up and down, just judging me. I'd get judged for what I ate, how I dress, even when I worked really hard to love myself. I'll never forget this. One time I was at a club and a bunch of us were hanging out, and then we left and went to an after party. And one guy there, he literally was so disrespectful. He looked at me and was like, "You know what? You're really big. It's crazy because my girlfriend is pregnant and you're bigger than her." What kind of human are you to even make that comment? In that moment, I really wanted to run out of the room and go home, but I just told him he was a hole, and I went on and I acted tough, but deep down it crushed me. Eventually, I finally decided I needed to lose the weight, not only because of how I was being judged, but how I felt in my own body. I wanted to feel better and more confident. And suddenly, people were holding doors for me, telling me I was glowing. They'd actually want to talk to me, like I was finally worth listening to. It just blows my mind how society adds value to your body. And if you've never experienced that shift, it's called skinny privilege. Listen, I'm not super skinny right now. You can see I have a roll here. This is my size. But I still get treated differently, even in this moment, than when I was 180 or 185 pounds. When I was heavier, I wasn't less kind, I wasn't less smart, I wasn't less capable, but the world made me feel like I was. Skinny privilege is the benefit of being seen as more valuable, more deserving, just because you fit the mold. We have to stop pretending that this doesn't happen. And if you've never experienced that shift, I need you to hear me. That is not your fault. Always remember, be the person who sees the worth in others, no matter their size. Compliment someone on their energy, not just their appearance. You know, you can see a person who is bigger and they're wearing a nice outfit. Compliment that person's outfit. Or if you go out and their personality is radiating, compliment them. Tell them, "Oh my God, I think you're so funny. I think you're so kind." You don't have to give someone value or worth based on how much they weigh. Because everybody, regardless of their size, deserves dignity, kindness, and respect. Be that person.
Skinny privilege and obesity bias is real. I have lost over 200 pounds in the last 3 years, so I have the perspective of both a person living in a large body and a person living in a smaller body. There is a huge difference in how people treat me. And no, I'm not limiting this statement to how men treat me or even perfect strangers. I'm also talking about my own friends and family. People are kinder, more empathetic, they have more patience, they're more interested in me as a person in this body. People who were mean to me in my fat body are nice to me now, and I haven't changed. I think that the only reason that skinny privilege is controversial is because that makes skinny people feel like their pain is invalidated. There's no argument that society ties our value as women to our weight, shape, size. I hope that this video validates your feelings if you are overweight or if you struggle with your weight, if you just choose to exist in a larger body. You're not crazy. They were being mean to you and you don't deserve that. And also a reminder to be nice to people, even if you aren't physically attracted to them.
As someone who used to weigh 330 pounds, I can tell you that my deepest fear has been confirmed that skinny privilege is a thing. Dirty looks when I was out in public, feeling judged, feeling like everything I ate or everything I wore was scrutinized, felt so judged just for leaving the house and existing in the world. Existing in this world that I feel like just will not accommodate you. Restaurant booths, airplane seats, amusement park, being judged by doctors, having medical equipment not accommodate you, movie theaters, public transportation. Being up overweight my whole life, society has made me feel like I'm not even worthy of a romantic relationship. The debilitating feeling of not being able to find your size in any of the normal stores, having to go into a specialized store and paying triple the price just to find clothes that fit you. Now, living in a smaller body, I can see firsthand how differently I am treated from when I was 330 pounds to now being 160 pounds down, and it is so sad. If you're experiencing any of the examples that I talked about, I am so sorry. If you have never experienced the things that I've talked about, you are experiencing skinny privilege or thin privilege. I don't mean to diminish the struggles that thin people go through versus the struggles that fat people go through. On the outside world, fat people face a completely different reality than thin people do. We need to stop looking at weight as a standard of health, success, who gets to have a spot in this world. The reality is, our body is just a body. Real beauty, real worth goes way deeper than what meets the eye. Our bodies change all the time. It's our eternal beauty that can last a lifetime.
Trick yourself into being skinny. Start acting and thinking like a skinny person. So, for example, certain things I've heard like naturally skinny people say are things like, I get full so easily. Oh, like eating greasy foods, eating sweet foods, like that stuff makes my stomach hurt. That's why I just don't eat it very much. I've also heard them say things like, I just naturally crave like healthier foods. All real things I've heard like naturally skinny people say before in my life. Things that I've never said to myself before, someone who, obese mindset. But you come to realize like, okay, that's why they're naturally skinny. I believe that naturally skinny people, they just are better at listening to their body. Like they don't have as much of addictive tendencies as we do. And so they can stop at just a few French fries, right? Where we don't want to. But I think it is just, they also naturally have like better hunger cues. They may also, again, naturally crave more healthier foods. So start saying these things to yourself and start acting on it. I think affirmations are great, but they're nothing without action. So next time someone offers you a plate of cookies, be like, oh, you know what? I wish, but I can maybe have like half of this cookie before my stomach starts to hurt. Like sugar just doesn't do well for me. Or, you're at lunch and like, stop eating your meal halfway through and just tell everyone, I get so full so quickly. I don't know what's going on. And so not only is that just better for you, obviously, because you're going to start believing these things yourself, but also by acting them out and announcing them to other people, that's going to hold you accountable, because you can't just be like, oh, I get full so quickly. Sorry guys, I have to stop eating. And then your friends catch you like 5 minutes later getting like a whole bag of popcorn or something, or, stuffing yourself on something else. They're going to be like, what, you just said that you get full quickly, right? So again, it's kind of like that social pressure to conform to what you just said about yourself. Anyway, I'm doing a whole YouTube video on it in more depth if you guys want to check that out. Whitney_Holcomb at YouTube. I'll be posting it in a couple days, so stay tuned.
I've lost 117 pounds, and let me tell you, being skinnier is better. And before you jump down my throat, let me just list the reasons why being skinnier is better. The way I was fat and people would ignore me, be rude to me. If I was out with my daughter in our stroller, no one would help me through like a door. Even if they were coming out, they would not wait to hold it open. That's not right. I don't like that. I remember those people. But now that I'm skinny and I have a stroller, people literally will wait to open the door as I walk up with the stroller. It's sad, but it's a sad truth. I can handle more things because I'm not constantly thinking about food. Food used to be my whole life. I used to be so transfixed on food. I used to think about my next meal, when I'm going to eat, how many macros, even when I was on a diet or whatever. I would think about food constantly, and now I don't have food noise. I don't care. Like, yeah, I'll eat. I love to eat. I love good food, but I'm not freaking out about it, and I'm not wasting my precious brain power on food and fantasizing and romanticizing food. Instead, I have time to think about other things and focus my efforts and my brain efforts on a lot of other things that are more productive, that are making me more money, that are making me hotter, and that are making me smarter. I now can wear the simplest outfits that are not even groundbreaking, but they look so cute because I have a thinner body now. There's nothing exciting about my outfits. I dress very simple because honestly I need to go shopping, but I just don't have the budget right now. So we're making do with what we have. But guess what? They look better on me because I'm skinnier. If you think these are rude or if I'm being rude, I get it. Totally get it. When I was in the mindset, when I was a lot bigger and I wasn't ready to hear these things, I would have thought that was rude, but these are hard truths, and I guarantee you anyone who's lost a large amount of weight would agree.
Like, something that pisses me off is people forget, like, if you want to be skinny, you have to do skinny activities, like eating less, saying no to saying no to a lot of food. Like, if you're out when you eat a little bit, like, there's a reason why if that person's skinny, they're eating a little bit. There's a reason why they're taking half of their food home and finish it tomorrow for lunch. Like, if you're big and if you're looking at this girl and you see she's eating a little bit, and let's say you struggle and you want to be little, ask yourself, maybe I should do that too. Like, do you really think something's going to change if you're going to eat that full portion in front of you while that skinny girl is eating half of that portion? Do you really think, like, if you're going to eat that portion, something's going to change, you're going to get skinny, you're going to lose weight? No, like, nothing will change unless something changes. If you are in a point in your life right now where you're not happy with how you look, your body, how you feel, something has to change. Something has to change in your life, whether that be how much you're eating, exercising, whatever the case is. Something has to change in order for something to change. Nothing's going to change if you're going to just sit there, complain, and like have all these excuses. Nothing's going to change. If you want to change, you have to change something. It can start by small little habits that turn into bigger habits, or you can just like full blown go like counting your calories, whatever. But nothing will change if you're sitting there doing everything that you're doing. So people forget that how much work it takes to be skinny. Like, and people think it's so easy. Like, I want to sit here and eat half of my fridge right now. We went to Costco today. I have snacks on deck. It's taken everything in me to sit here and not eat those snacks. But you know what? It is so much more like hotter to control yourself around food and look hot than just to go eat whatever you want and then feel like crap. It's like simple. Like, I don't understand. I mean, I get it. Food is an addiction, and we should treat it as such. I've been there. Even now, I love food. Like, just because I'm skinny does not mean I don't love food. I freaking love food. I freaking wish I could eat as much as I want, but I still have to control myself. Just because I eat intuitively does not mean I have full freedom around how much food I want to eat. Like, yes, I'll eat a meal and I'll go to my 70%, but that doesn't mean I don't want more. Of course I want more. Who doesn't want to eat freaking gooey, warm cinnamon rolls? Oh. You know what I mean? Like, of course I love food. I don't know what my point is, but my point is it takes a lot of work to be skinny. So appreciate the skinny people in your life, okay? Because we deserve to be appreciated too, okay? Not just body positivity people need hype and need encouragement. We skinny people need encouragement to stay skinny. That's it.